Try not to roll around too much. By the way, there's this constant shift.
can't wait.
Yeah, I mean you can, but it's always nice. You know what to do with your mic. So your mic,
They don't even move.
I would say clip it on
I have
your.
to wear a mic too.
Yeah, clip it on your jacket on your left
This is
side.
big time now,
I'm
man.
whining like crazy. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, you don't really whine until you get higher up.
Yeah.
When you get to that room, then your whining is like so much more.
Or there's just like.
Why don't you take your thing, just put that on the table.
Take this thing off.
And I'm going to suggest right here. Is that
Yeah,
cool?
probably right there.
Or would you like there?
I'd
help
say
you
clip
out.
it on the side of his jacket there. That's probably good.
I will help you out. Excuse the reach out. I know we just met, but we're going to get to know each other a little bit.
Your hands smell like Purell. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
No, that's just my natural body odor.
Your
Thanks,
natural-
thanks. That's
You have Mitch
fantastic.
Purell. Oozes it.
Same signals? Is that fine?
Yeah, this one might go a little bit shorter, but I'm good. You really don't need to signal me. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Only other thing to say, you already know, but I'm going to say it for your benefit, Ed. If the audience asks a question, repeat the question so that it's on the mic so they can record it for the stream.
Oh, I have to repeat the question.
Well,
I've been repeating them for you, so if you want me to,
Sweet.
I can
What
do
if I
that.
don't hear the question?
Well, that's another good
Then let him repeat it.
I know, I'm teasing. I'm
I
just
have
being
three.
difficult.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
It's terrible.
Hello, room. Thank you for coming to the panel. We're about to start in about a minute or so. Just a couple cute small things. They're all happy and back. Please put your phones on silent or turn them off or something like that so they
Me
don't
too.
make lots of noise during the
Yeah.
panel. You
I
can
should
take
have somebody
photos,
text me in the
but
middle
no
of it. I
flash.
just have a Godzilla sound that goes off when it
This is a
texts.
live web stream.
God, I wish to keep it on. Yes.
All of the panels that are
Mom, I can't talk. I'm doing an interview.
By FlipON.TV online, they'll be available after the con as well. So,
You're gonna turn on big lights, and now you're gonna really
No,
freeze up.
you're
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah. Just watch. You're with me. It's fine. You're fine.
Wow. Can't see anything.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Secret Origins room at Emerald City Comic Con. I'm Jonah Weiland from Comic Book Resources, and our guest now is superstar artist Ed McGuinness. Yay! We should start by saying you just found out about 10 minutes ago and rushed up here. You didn't even know you had to do this.
No, I didn't.
And it scared the crap out of you, didn't it?
More than aggravated me. I'm not good at these things, so I just.
Do you like to just let your work speak for itself? Do you
Yeah.
not like to talk about your work very much?
I'm not into self-promotion
Yeah?
a lot. No, I live in Maine and I work in my basement, so I'm pretty white.
All right, I just messed something up here. There's a bunch of places that we could start, but I'm going to start with something. I reached out to your, many times collaborator, Mr. Jeff Loeb, and I said, give me some background on Ed, because I don't know much about you, and there's very little about you online. And the first thing he said was, "Oh, Ed, he's a family guy. He's got like 12 kids." Do you have 12 kids? No.
No, I have 4 kids.
You have 4 kids.
I have 4 kids.
You are a young guy to have 4 kids.
I'm 40. I just turned 40.
Oh, man.
I've been in this industry, I think, for maybe a little over 20 years at this point.
20 years.
Yeah.
The,
Because I started doing the Vampirella stuff. I think it was around 1994.
Okay.
It's back then, so. But, Marvel was 96, so.
Right. When did you do the Wildstorm book? I'm blanking. I've got it. somewhere.
Majestic?
Yeah. When did you do that?
I don't know.
I thought that was before Marvel.
No, I started at Marvel. I did the Wolverine 96 annual, which I think I drew in 95. And then I did a run on Deadpool, and I got fired.
Oh no.
Oh, deadlines. That was terrible.
Yeah?
Always be honest with your editors. No, I mean, seriously, I was just young and, getting married, probably the best thing I could ever have done for my career, because artists are just like flighty people, and, you get behind on stuff and you tell one lie, it leads to another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, it's just one of those things where, getting married was awesome because, my wife was there to support me and just really help me through stuff. And, it's almost like having a manager there. She's like, you probably shouldn't be playing the PlayStation right now.
Yeah.
You should probably be working because it's, having discipline, not. I guess that's why a lot of guys back in the day maybe worked in the bullpen because it was easier. You just had that,
Right. She really helped you grow up, it sounds like.
I think so.
Interesting.
I still need help.
Well, let's go back to those early days. And I think the first thing I saw where I became a fan of yours, was the Superman work you did with Jeff Loeb. The Joker stuff, I'm blanking on the name. Help me out here.
Emperor Joker?
Emperor Joker.
Yeah.
Go back to those early days and take yourself back to when you're working on that art and what you think of that art. Tell us about working up those early stories and what you think about it today.
I have trouble looking at any old stuff like that because I just feel like I just want to move forward. So when I look at stuff like that old, I'm like, why did they hire me? You know, I don't. And not saying that I deserve to be like, oh, now I've arrived or something. It's not even like that. But I just see all the flaws of my work, and I think even with stuff I've drawn like 2 months ago, I still see it. But I think that's the one thing that keeps making you move forward and want to get better and progress. Because I don't ever want to think, oh, here I am. I know how to draw now. I think I'm more intimidated at the board sometimes now than I was when I was back then, like just naive, and I thought everything was great.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah. It's like the more you learn, the more you can see the mistakes, and and you try to correct them. It's just, I don't know. But as far as what was the question?
Going back to that time, that was a huge high-profile project for you.
Yeah, it
really catapulted. Did it freak you out?
Well, yeah, because when I first started, I started. I was at Wildstorm, and this was before they were bought by DC. I was working on Mr. Majestic, and Joe Casey and I were just doing Superman, but in our own way, and he had some really fun stories, and it was almost like the gloves were off and we could just really fool around and relax and just whatever, and then Jeff went to DC and he was getting Superman, and he was like, hey, he was looking at the Majestic stuff, and he's like, I can, it's worth a shot. And, next thing I know, I'm on the book. And then I freaked out because it's like the legacy of Superman. It just hit me, like the weight of it. I mean, the other time that it hit me was when I first started working at Marvel, and I got on Deadpool. And that, because drawing the independent stuff, like the Vampirella stuff and all that, it was the same thing as Majestic. Not that Wildstorm was independent, but it wasn't, the weight wasn't there,
right.
in the same way.
If you told your friends, oh yeah, I'm working on a comic book called Mr. Majestic,
yeah,
they wouldn't know. Right,
yeah.
Right.
So, it was the same thing. Like, when I first started my career, I went from Vampirella to like Wolverine or Deadpool, and when I realized I'm drawing for Marvel, I'm like, Alan Davis is my peer now. This is weird. You know what I mean? Because I don't belong in the same room as that guy at all, So I freaked out like that, but I think the character Superman freaked me out more when it was the transition from Majestic to Superman, because it's just the weight of it. It's like, do I even deserve this
right.
mantle, and it was weird. I took it seriously, and I don't know, I tried to have fun with it, and eventually it got to the point where it's like, okay, I'm cool, but
done, right.
the initial jitters it was crazy.
You've worked with Loeb a number of times now. You just did a couple issues of Nova with him, of course. Oh, I thought that was for us. Someone in the other room likes us. Talk about working with Jeff. This is the guy who's the head of Marvel TV now. His responsibilities are in a very different place now. Yet he still plays in comics. You guys have worked together enough. Do you guys have a bit of a shorthand now? Does he know what your strengths are and your weaknesses are?
Oh,
you guys talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, we've always had, just friendship-wise even, but just like a really good understanding. Even where we're coming from, like we're fans of old school comics, like the old Kirby stuff and just all, just we get the same vibe basically. We're on the same wavelength with stuff. So, I've just always felt comfortable working with him because I love the stories that, he tries to tell and the things that he'll pull out, and I'll throw stupid ideas out there and I'll make him laugh, and next thing I know it's in a script. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
I've been responsible for a lot of stupid things.
Give us an example of one of those, quote, stupid things. Unquote.
The Red Hulk punches the Watcher. It caused a lot of controversy, I'm sure, There's been a lot of things, but you know, I always say that I'm like Barney Rubble and he's Fred Flintstone, you know, like where Barney will say a great idea and then Fred will be like, and then he'll repeat the idea back 2 seconds later, you know.
Sure.
I tease him like that, but no, he's always been really collaborative. That's the best thing. Like he truly respects my were the first characters that I really, you know, was exposed to as far as comics. But, you know, Nightcrawler was like the first character that I actually found on my own. You know, that was my favorite character, not just like, you know, this guy's on the cereal box or he's on the electric company or, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
So, yeah, I've always just had, plus I've always liked monster type characters like the Thing.
Is that what it is? I was going to ask you. What is it about Nightcrawler that you love?
Well, you know, as I get to know the character further, you know, I love his disposition and his personality and just he's very fun. But, you know, and initially as a kid, it was just he was a monster. It was so cool. I've always been a fan of like Universal Studios stuff as a kid, and so anything like that, like the Thing was another favorite of mine growing up. That's why I like the Hulk too, because he's just this big monster.
You brought up the Universal monsters. If you were ever given a chance, would you want to work on some of those characters? You know, their
Dude,
version of
I want to do Werewolf by Night at some point, just because he's the Wolfman.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I love those characters.
That's cool. What do you like drawing?
I can tell you what I don't like drawing.
All right, let's start there. Let's start there.
Guns and motorcycles.
Really? Why is that? You know, most artists say animals or specific animals.
I don't mind animals. They don't bother me. I don't know. Guns is just sometimes, because I feel like I'm making them up. And like if I reference it too much, I feel like I'm missing details and it's not believable. Right. But there are guys like Michael Golden draws like the best guns I've ever seen. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just can't do that.
Right.
And then motorcycles, it's just weird. There's a lot going on perspective-wise, you know what I mean? And I don't know.
So doing a Captain America book may not be your thing.
No. He'd probably look weird on that thing, driving around. I did have to draw Cap on a motorcycle, actually, and it wasn't that bad, but I don't know.
Interesting. You talked earlier about when you first, you know, you were working on Deadpool and you're working for Marvel, and it occurred to you that, wow, I'm considered to be on the same level as Alan Davis. He's one of my peers now.
Well, I didn't
then,
consider that I was on his level,
right,
but yeah,
but yeah,
it's
like
he's in the same office as me, and it's like, okay, I shouldn't be here.
Should
be in the mailroom.
And that was your early days, and a lot more insecure as we all are when we're starting out. Do you still have that insecurity? Do you still doubt yourself on that same level?
Yeah, you know, it is. It's funny. You can do that sometimes. Like I don't try to take anything for granted. I always try to think that this could be the last book you draw, you know, because it could be. Because, you know, the editorial could change and the new editor could come on and be like, I don't like Ed McGuinness, I don't get it.
Right.
And, you know, I'm not on that book. And you just, you know, it just can happen. I mean, nothing is forever, and it's just, you know, I'm 40 now. How long am I going to be hip?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so at some point, you know, not that the jig's going to be up, but it's just like I just want to keep moving forward and keep fresh and, you know, keep being excited about it. And I think if I'm going to be excited about stuff, it'll come out in the work and make people excited. But, yeah, I don't know if it's an insecurity as opposed to just looking at reality. You know, just seeing things for, you know, this eventually will end, you know, so I don't know.
You talk about pushing yourself as an artist and, you know, always wanting to evolve a little bit. Where do you look for inspiration in your art?
Oh, it changes so much. I don't know, I mean, movies, other books, just almost anything,
Yeah.
you know, anything you're looking at, I mean, it's just in my mindset to catalog and process at this point. So,
I know you're a big video game fan too.
yeah, probably too much. I try to cut it back, though. I mean, I've cut back a lot, but...
What are some of your favorite video games? What are the ones that have sucked you in for an entire weekend and you didn't see your family for a whole weekend?
Oh, geez.
What are the ones that have ruined your life?
I used to play World of Warcraft, and I stopped playing that.
That will ruin your life.
Yeah,
I've known 2 friends where their marriages were ruined by that game, so you got to be careful of that game.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know.
You tend to like those big universes more than maybe like the first-person shooters or something like that?
Yeah. Any kind of game where it's like kind of like a sandboxy kind of game, like that Skyrim game, I just could play that for days. You know what I mean? Just because you could just do anything.
Yeah.
Games like that are a lot of fun to me.
Do you want to write? Do you have any ambition to write?
I have a ton of ideas, but I think I'm too intimidated as far as, like, I'd plot all day, but as far as getting down to the nuts and bolts of actually, I don't know. There's something that I think I need to learn before I do that. Because I do have the ideas, absolutely. But I think I'm just too intimidated at this point to, I don't know, there's something that I need to learn. I don't know what it is.
Maybe you just need to find the right collaborator to help you through that process. 'Cause
Yeah.
It sounds like, because I saw something in you right then where you said, yeah, I want to. It sounds like you really want to. You just don't have that confidence yet.
I think, yeah, it's probably it. I mean, yeah, I feel like I just need something extra, or like to understand the process a little more.
Right.
Like it even comes down to drawing. Like when I go to draw certain things, I can't draw it unless I understand it. You know what I mean? Like I could just fudge what a bank looks like, but I want to see a bank so I can convey that to you better. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I could just put posters of dollar signs in a room, on a wall.
Right,
And go,
right.
that's a
And try to
bank.
sell it, sure.
It's not a bank. You know what I mean? Like there's teller windows and there's certain things, and so I think with like writing and stuff like that, there's a lot, pacing, and because I mean, even down to the panel stuff, there's so much more that goes into that than I think your average person who even reads comics even understands what's going on. How you guide the eye around the page and everything. So I think with writing, it's just as deep, and I just don't want to.
Put yourself out there quite yet.
Yeah,
right? I see it's going to happen, though, it sounds like.
Well, who knows? Maybe when they decide I can't draw anymore.
Yeah. Like so many artists, you're rather self-deprecating. You're never satisfied. But take a moment and really think about the books you have worked on in your career, and those where you walk away saying, that was some of my best stuff, and I'm happiest with that, and I'd never want to go back and mess with it. Is there a book like that or projects like that?
I think the first time that happened to me was with the first arc in Superman and Batman. We were pretty rushed on the second one, but that first arc, when it was all said and done and we got back the hardcovers, and I looked through it and I'm like, this is a real comic. Like, I don't know, it's the first time I was like actually satisfied in a sense. I can go through and nitpick whatever, but I think that was the first time, and I remember calling Jeff going, I'm really proud of this. You know what I mean? This really came out well. And I think sometimes too, I can't, looking at stuff immediately after, I'm just, because I just did it too, but then at the same time, looking at stuff a long time after, I don't like looking at it either. I don't know. So, but that was the first time, that I was pretty happy with something that I've done. I was actually pretty happy with this run on Amazing X-Men with Jason Aaron too. I'm curious to see how that, like when you get a trade and you can see everything all together in one package, there's more of an impact there, but I was pretty happy with some of that stuff. I think we set out to accomplish something. I think we did, so.
I was going to guess that those first 5 issues of Amazing X-Men with Jason, where he brings Nightcrawler back, there is, sure, it's pirates and there's a lot of swashbuckling, but
that's the character.
That's
it's so
the character,
fun.
but there seems to be, and I saw it in your work on Hulk with Jeff too. There's this freedom in your artwork in those, and I felt like you were enjoying yourself.
Oh yeah,
I could be
was having
projecting a little bit, but I felt you
No,
really enjoyed yourself.
I was. I had a blast on that book. I had a blast on the Hulk too. I really did. You know, I did X Sanction, wasn't into it, but you know, the company asked you to do a book. I'm still going to be a professional about it and try to do my best. I wasn't my first project. Even Nova, when I started, I did not want to do Nova. But the funny thing with Nova was, you know, at issue 5, I'm like, I don't want to leave this book. I really grew to love the character and the vibe of the book. But you know, Jeff was done and we were moving on, and you know, so.
You grew into that book. That's interesting.
Yeah, I really did. I tried to get out of it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, but it turned into a really fun experience. So.
If anybody's got any questions, we can take a few questions right now. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, a couple of years ago I saw Frank Weiland being interviewed, and he lives out in a relatively rural place, and he commented that none of his neighbors knew what he did for a living. I'm curious, since you live in Maine, whether your neighbors in your area where you live actually know what you do and how they react to what you do as a profession, how it works with your
Yeah.
Just to repeat the question for the
I'm
people
sorry.
back home
I'm
watching.
sorry.
No problem. He wants to know about, you know, you living in Bangor, Maine, pretty rural area, and you know, do your neighbors know what you do, and do they get what you do?
I don't think they really, because I don't just go, hey, I'm Ed McGuinness, I draw comics. You know what I mean? I don't think, I'm not sure if they're aware, you know? And it's not, like I said, it's not anything I go and just put, I mean, I don't even have Facebook. I don't care to really, you know, promote, but, yeah, I think I'm in the same situation.
Just kind of anonymous, and you're just a guy who lives next door to
If
some
I get
neighbors?
pulled
Yeah.
over, I get a ticket.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, do you know I draw comics? You'd probably
You should try that
laugh
next
at
time.
me and give me more of a ticket. Like, I feel bad for you.
Did you grow up in Maine?
I grew up in Massachusetts. I had a ton of family in Quincy. I was born there, and I moved to Stoughton, Massachusetts. Went to school there and high school, and so.
How did you end up in Maine? It's not the first place most people move to.
We moved back to. I was in Brockton for a while, and then back into Quincy, and it was like third kid's on the way, and both houses on both sides of me getting broken into. I'm just like, all right, I'm out of here.
Right.
You know, and Maine was a really cool place because the housing is cheaper, and I can pretty much work wherever, you know, I was wherever I want.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty cool thing. There was a lady doing the census. I got stuck in the census somehow, and she lived up in Maine and was telling me about it. So
She kind of sold
we
you
ended
on
up.
it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Do you think living so far from a big city, do you think living in a more rural area influences your art
It's
in
funny
any way?
because Bangor isn't rural.
It's not?
It's not. It's really funny. Like 10 minutes either way. Yeah, you're in the mountains.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But right there, I mean, I've got everything I need because
Okay.
I actually live on the other side of the Penobscot. But it's, I mean, you know, they have drug problems in Bangor. You know what I mean? Like bath salts. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but
Yeah.
some crazy stuff. But
Wow.
yeah, there are parts in Bangor that remind me of where I used to live in Massachusetts, in the rougher part.
Wow.
You know, so.
We'll be happy to have that behind you at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about your time on Hulk and co-creating Red Hulk. I don't think most Hulk fans were quite ready for what happened there, and it's interesting to watch the reaction to that series.
I wasn't
during
ready.
and then you weren't ready.
No.
All right, well then let's go to those early days and
well,
those discussions with Jeff and those getting those scripts.
Well, I let Jeff know I would love to do the Hulk. I just a character I just enjoy drawing, you know, and I thought it'd be great, you know, and so he rallied and he got the book, and yeah, he wanted to do it too. It wasn't just because I said I want to draw the Hulk, but that was one of my main things coming to Marvel. I want to draw the Hulk. So we get the book, and you know it's coming from Joe Quesada. Basically, well, yeah, you guys have the Hulk, but it's going to be the Red Hulk. And we're like, the hell's the Red Hulk? You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? I don't want to draw the Red Hulk. I
Right.
don't even know what that is.
Right.
So but you know, we were pretty much, they knew from the beginning that it was going to be Ross. But we did have the leeway to change that if we decided to, and we actually came pretty close to doing it. But you know, we got to design a character from ground up. You know, I got to do all the visuals on him, and Jeff figured him out, you know, everything, and you know, we knew it was Ross. I was like, well, the first thing he should do is kill the Abomination, because as far as he's concerned, that's what killed his daughter. You know what I mean? So we're just going through the psychology of everything. It was a lot of fun. But it was another thing where I just fell in love with the Red Hulk, and I was like, I love doing that. So I still think I have a Hulk run somewhere in me, because I never really did a Hulk run. I did a Red Hulk run.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But yeah, we had a great time. And one of the things that people always ask me, so now that this is being streamed and taped,
Yeah.
the reason why he doesn't have a mustache is he doesn't have eyebrows either. They disappear. So the Red Hulk does not have a mustache because he doesn't have eyebrows either.
Right.
So that was right from the beginning. You know, like, because how could Ross turn into the Hulk?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was but nobody notices he had no eyebrows. It's always the mustache.
So they made a big deal about the mustache.
Yeah, but
that's
nobody
funny.
cared about the eyebrows.
He's got a great full head of hair. It made me very jealous, I gotta say. Any other questions out here? Go ahead.
Hey, you said your wife's really supportive. Do you have like brothers or sisters that keep asking if you're going to get a real job, or are they supportive?
Asking about the family support. Do the brothers and sisters say, when are you going to get a real job?
No, they're all cool. You know, my parents in the beginning were supportive of me trying to do it, you know, and get out there. And when my dad realized that I could actually make money doing it, he was like, well, forget school, just go work.
Yeah.
You know, so.
What about your kids? You know, comics in my lifetime have just completely changed. They went from being this niche thing that maybe got made fun of for reading and stuff like that to now it's driving pop culture. What about your kids? Do they just think you're just the coolest dude because you can draw Superman for them?
No, it's my job.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, they know all the heroes. I was talking about this to somebody today. They know all the heroes. I think they've absorbed the information, you know.
But you're still just dad.
Yeah.
You're not the guy who can draw Superman
No.
for him.
I think it blows my son's mind because he came with me. He's 13, and you know, bringing him to the shows and then seeing the interaction with me with people and some of the lines and stuff. I think he's like, oh, geez, you know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because at home he's just like living in the basement.
But here people are lining up for autographs and stuff. So that's got to be a big moment for your son.
Yeah, but he's just happy because I get to buy him stuff while he's here. So.
What's your dream project? Is it that Hulk that you said, or is there something else in you?
Geez, I don't know. I mean, I think working on the X-Men was some of the cast that I have. I think I'm doing it now, you know? I mean, good grief, what artist doesn't want to do Superman? I did that. Holy crap, that's amazing. You know what I mean? When I really sit back and think about it. I mean, throughout my career, been very blessed to be able to work on some of the things I've been able to work on, which I'm surprised that I've been able to work on them. But my ultimate dream would be probably the X-Men stuff that I'm doing, because that's the stuff that really, when I became comics aware, you know, at like 12 years old, and I started, you know, going and buying my own comics, and, you know, that's the stuff I was buying, like trying to buy all the burn back issues I could get my hands on. They were cheaper back then. And then, you know, following Paul Smith on his run, and then Romita Jr., all that stuff. I mean, that was like, I love that stuff and those characters. And it went away from that for so long.
Yeah.
It's, for me, it seemed, you know, and these gold team and blue team and whatever. I don't even know what happened in the 90s, but.
Right. I don't think most people do. Paul Smith, you brought him up. He was one of my favorite X-Men.
Oh, I loved him.
He has to be a huge. I was going to talk to you about influences, but I got to guess he was a big influence on you.
Probably. I mean, I haven't looked at his stuff in a while. I mean, besides just reading like the essential stuff, going back through it and reading that. But as a kid, yeah, I really clean style. It was easy to read. dynamic, like some of that Morlock stuff. It was a lot of fun. Really cool stuff in there. That fight with Wolverine and Silver Samurai. That was some awesome stuff.
Right, and there's a little bit more of a cartoony style there too, and
Yeah.
that's why I say I think it's probably
Yeah.
had an influence on you.
Yeah, it probably did. I mean, like I said, I think as far as influences, you know, first major influence was John Byrne, because that was, like I said, he was the first guy that I was like, all right, there's a difference between guys who draw one way and the quality and the level that he was doing it at consistently. As a kid, he was the first one that I was like starting to make sense of it. I'm like, wow. And then, you know, Art Adams came along with these annuals, and I was like, whoa, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
That stuff blew me away. Still does. It's just really cool.
Were your parents supportive when you first started pursuing this?
Yeah, they've always been pretty supportive. I can never say that they weren't. You know, I've always worked a regular job, and then when comics was starting to pay, I was able to pull that back.
Yeah.
You know, but I've always worked.
Right.
You know, so
What's the worst job you ever had?
probably Thundercats.
Well, I meant
Just
a
comics.
real job, but in comics. Okay,
Well,
Thundercats.
because it was frustrating. I was really excited to do it.
Okay.
And then I started doing it, and the book, we lost like 3 months in the schedule in the middle of the first issue. So I couldn't even draw the third issue physically, even if I wanted to. So, you know, that was frustrating.
Sure.
But as far as worst jobs, I think I had like, I worked at a pizza place for like 8 years. So you know, I learned a lot there, but, you know, beyond that, I mean,
Were you making pies or were you delivering them?
did everything. Like, well, the place didn't deliver, but I did everything.
Yeah.
It was a big pizza place in Massachusetts, pretty famous there, but
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I've worked at one restaurant job, and it's never easy. It's never easy.
no, stressful.
Yes.
You learn how to deal with stress, though. That's one thing that, you know, operate under pressure.
Yeah.
Because I can do that. It's like, I can, sometimes you can get like lazy, and then like the deadline's coming, and I'll just like, boom,
Yeah.
I can work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Any other questions out here as we finish up? I have one more question for you.
yep.
You know, there's all this talk these days about creator-owned projects, and this is an area that you really haven't done anything in.
Yeah, I know.
Is it something that you want to pursue, or is it just not right for you right now?
I do want to pursue it. I have a lot of ideas, but I think I want to get this X-Men stuff out of my
System, yeah.
system. But I probably have too many ideas.
Well, it's interesting because
know?
you talked about how your dream job may be the X-Men work you're doing. And so I got to ask you, like, how do you push yourself forward to that next project? Where do you find that next big inspiration?
You know, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've got a ton of ideas for things that, I guess it's just about feeling when the timing is right. You know, just, because I've had ideas for things that I want to do a few years ago, and if I had done them, I don't think I would have done them as good as they could have been done.
Right.
So, you know, if you're going to put yourself out there with something like that, for me, I want to make sure that it's going to hit, and it's going to be, you know, the best thing that I can put out. You know, and I just don't want to, you know, have some idea just at random, and I just want to develop it and really make it what it could be. You know, put some depth in it, but I don't know.
I got to say, for a guy who didn't know he was doing this, who had no clue that he had to do an interview in front of an audience, he did pretty damn good, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Ed, thank you very much. He's Ed McGuinness.
It's over. And you survived. I did survive. Was I red the entire time?
No, you actually looked
Oh, cool.
That was really enjoyable.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, thanks for helping me with that. I was just like, oh, I hate doing these things. I get that. I don't know why. I just like, I always feel like I'm just gonna be like, yeah.
I'm no one.
It's so funny. Well, thanks, dude. I appreciate that.
You did good. And, oh, Jeff says hi.
right, take it easy.
See you, man.
I wanted to let you know, whenever I started buying comic books, Deadpool was one of the first ones I started getting. Appreciate it. Really enjoyed that. If I knew I'd actually see, I'd bring my Hulk Deadpool comics. On top of the Hulk.
Yeah.
That's a riot. Thanks for coming. Next door, they have that big panel table where it makes a lot of sense because you have 6 microphones with 6 people behind them. Huh?
That's his name.
Okay.
Can I hang out here? Is that?
Oh, yeah. We do.
Well, thank you. That's very sweet of you to say.
Because he said that and I'm like, oh, that could go bad.
It got interesting pretty quick, I thought.
I thought he, for a guy, he was, did you see how nervous he was? Shaking when he first got here. I can do
not want to be.
Yeah, you gotta get, and you gotta, with artists, as soon as you ask them what they like to draw and what they hate to draw, you ask them what they hate to draw, did you see how he lit up there? It's like guns and motorcycles, like, they know exactly, and it's
Yeah.
frustrating, and that's when you get that real emotion
Yeah.
out of them, and that's when you start to relax, like,
Yeah.
okay.
No,
So we
that
did
was
it.
I was actually sitting there going, oh, he doesn't like to be here. Because I could see him when he came in the door. I said, he doesn't really look like he wants to be here.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah. You just roll and just, you know, look, I'm talking to you. I can talk to anybody, and it's fun. And if you can't have fun talking about comics,
Well, that's why they're in the comfort zone. You don't really get emotion. It's like the Richard Sherman thing.
Richard Sherman. Oh,
Football
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's football player.
Congratulations on your Seattle Seahawks. That's
We're
pretty
very
cool.
proud.
Us people from Los Angeles, we have a mixed opinion of Pete
Funny
Carroll.
you should say that because I grew up in the St. Louis area,
Yeah.
and you know the rest.
Yes, we know the rest. You leave LA and you win a Super Bowl. Off, Martin Shaw.
Well, not just that, but I didn't care. They're not my team. Jim Hart.
I thought that was a weird thing
Cardinals?
too. Yeah.
How many Cardinals are in Arizona? 11.
Right. I'm a big. I used to work for the Raiders, so years and years ago, and it was a great job in terms of learning how to deal with it. Seriously, some of the worst people I've ever dealt with in my life.
Keep in mind, this keeps streaming. We can't turn that off.
Oh, the
Just
mics are off,
saying.
right?
Sarah?
The mic should be off.
Yeah, the mics are off. I'm looking, there's nothing.
Yeah. Mike's to this. No.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I don't care.
These are
About,
re-
I don't care about the Raiders.
Okay.
But I am a huge sports fan. I'm a huge basketball fan. I gotta say, I wanted the Sacramento Kings to sort of move here, and I sort of wanted them to stay there because they're good for Sacramento. But you guys need a basketball team.
No, we need a hockey team.
Yeah.
You need a hockey team. Actually, this would be a great place. You guys support your teams.
And they have bought, I mean,
Here's my sports.
you were talking about.
We finished it early because he.
Yeah, I know. He did a really good job, though.
They're
He
ready
did
to
better than
develop
some of the
a
others.
new arena that would host an NHL team and an NBA team, but they don't have any teams yet. What's
We'll
his
get
name?
there.
Chris Hansen has bought all of the property
Yep.
south of,
So,
south of the dome.
Right.
And they're ready to go. They've got a buku investors. They just gotta find some teams.
They'll get it. Adam Silver, who's the new NBA commissioner, used to talk about this. That is the market we need to get into. It's a very rich market. And they need to. Like, look at the way the Sounders have been
Oh my gosh.
responding to. It's unbelievable. Did you see that? I think it was Real Sports did a profile on the Sounders. They talked to the owner, Drew Carey.
Yeah.
crazy
They did the
things.
whole march.
The
I wanted
fans were here before, long before.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
And there's a huge Portland rivalry, and there would be too, if they picked up an NBA team. Because we have minor hockey, we have junior hockey here,
Right.
We
Portland,
need real
Seattle.
hockey. We need an NHL.
Yes, we
Well,
do.
no, look,
Just
Canada, why don't we have NHL?
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
We did well, we're the only, Seattle won the Stanley Cup in 1918,
We are.
when we had a professional
I
hockey
First,
team.
you
How
need
funny.
to bring the.
Because, yeah, you guys don't have an NHL team yet. Atlanta got and lost two NHL
I
teams.
know.
at the time.
It's stupid. We would get a really strong NHL.
I think we do.
You would.
We would.
Some sports we just don't get into quite as much. I think NBA, I think that really doesn't.
We get
I
into
think the
all
NBA
the
would.
sports though.
I think, well, do you know Jamal Crawford?
No, I'm actually not into sports.
Okay. Jamal,
Like, I know I watch people be into sports. I have a friend who's really into hockey, and I want to. Get
See,
into
we're big
hockey.
hockey fans, but,
I could get into hockey because I like to yell insults at people.
I like going to hockey games. I'm not crazy about watching it on TV. It's a very different
the
experience.
cat likes it. Ooh.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
like the Kings so much. remember I said I grew up in the Midwest, outside the St. Louis area?
Right.
We got Gretzky from you.
Yeah, but that was okay. Gretzky coming to LA was the greatest thing that ever happened in the NHL.
For hockey, yeah.
And it was
Absolutely,
huge
yeah.
for hockey, just in general. You watch now, how many kids come up through the California system now?
Mhm.
And yeah, because we have major junior team here in Everett and Portland. As a matter of fact, we're missing playoff game tonight and hopefully not tomorrow night. But
Silvertips and Thunderbirds, right?
yes, Thunderbirds are
3-0.
3-0 right now. If they win tonight, it's over. We would support one, and there's built-in rivalry. The Portland-Seattle rivalry, because Portland has an NHL quality hockey arena
Yep.
in the Rose Garden,
Yep.
and
Do we fight with the Canadian teams?
yeah,
So like, and there'd be also the Vancouver one.
yeah.
Yeah, oh, those connections are interesting.
Maybe we can get into notes. I like it when we had bad teams. I'm actually a big fan of the Mariners.
Really?
I
Oh, I
can't
love going
stand
to
baseball.
Mariners games,
I just snooze through baseball. I'm like,
It is interesting seeing in LA what's happening with baseball, because baseball was a Dodger tradition in LA for a long time, at least when I grew up. And then they started sucking for a long time. And then the Angels came up, and that's not Los Angeles.
no.
So LA's always been a Laker town. It still is, even though they suck completely. I'm a Clipper fan. It still is, but now that the Dodgers are coming back, they're looking like real contenders for next year. The town's changing. It's kind of neat to see. I love sports culture. I kind of try to approach college culture with sports mentality. There's some good stuff there.
Same crazy.
Say again?
Same crazy.
It is, and you really, if you really want to kind of get into it, cosplaying started in sports. Come on,
Yeah.
especially at Raider Stadium.
Hey, look, I'm my favorite player.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially Raider fans, because they would do all the face makeup. Like they would,
Yeah.
like, really went fully nuts.
Yeah.
And then it peeled it
We don't do a lot of that in Seattle, mostly because it's really flipping cold. So
I've
whatever
seen
you wear
some stuff at
is.
Sounders games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sounders
Except
games,
for
they
Sounders
play a
games.
different time of year, but the
Yeah.
Seahawks play outside, and whatever you have on is covered by most sane people by a.
Maybe the reason we're really into the Sounders is because, scarves.
Those
We're
are
practical out here.
But they talk about like European teams coming to America and seeing Sounders games.
Yeah.
This is just like something out
Yeah.
of Europe. We've never seen this anywhere.
We
Yeah.
don't have
And-
riots as much.
No, we
No,
don't.
not
When
as
we
much.
riot, we're so polite.
We're so
And then we
polite.
fix it all
After
after.
the Seahawks won, somebody posted on Twitter, "Dear Seattle, your riot is more like a music festival."
Yeah, yep.
And it's cool.
But you know what, yeah,
I
I would,
know.
I love it.
Downtown was, 750,000 plus people. It was elbow to elbow downtown. Nobody got arrested. Nobody really got hurt. Tell me about it. We were shocked.
Enjoying the gun?
Yes. Very much.
Great.
It was a good town.
And
you know, I
I'm
didn't
not going
care
to come
about-
to
I
an
didn't
opinion
think I
until
cared about
probably
soccer.
Wednesday
I
when I
went
wake
to
back
a
up.
game. I was like,
That's fair
so
enough.
much fun.
I wanted
And I
to
understand it 'cause I know-
We still got 2 more days to go.
They're not cheap.
Oh, they're not?
Like, I can go to Mariners game for like $12.
Yeah, you can go to Mariners cheap.
But a Sounders ticket, like, if you get the worst seat there and you try really hard, cheapest would be $20, but you're more like $40.
I was thinking about it.
Well, it's hard to get tickets to Sounders games.
That's also true.
I was thinking about going tomorrow night, just like buying a couple tickets off my stuff,
Yeah.
expecting it to be expensive.
Yeah.
But no, the Real Sports has great profile on the Sounders, and it was really, their approach to it was really interesting, because the approach was, how did this happen? Where did this happen? Like, why? Like, you guys even won a championship yet? Like, you're a championship level enthusiasts. This is,
Yeah.
and they actually talked about the NBA and why.
And the NBA leaving, and you won a Sonics left? Oh my God. It was,
But you know what, they left because
They weren't being
no one
supported.
was coming.
they weren't being supported, they weren't playing
But you
well,
gotta
the
think,
arena is old.
One more year.
I
If you had
hated that.
one more year of Kevin Durant, as he receives another team, and he's probably the best player in the NBA right now. If you have one more year of becoming a senior, I think that team's done so much.
It really sad. I just think we're not into basketball. Because I mean, look at our WNBA game. They're really good. We've won so many championships.
WNBA doesn't pull in.
It doesn't pull anybody in.
Well, that's really why we shouldn't segregate the sport teams anyway. They should be.
You have to. You don't want,
No, you don't have to.
you don't want
I
a small
agree with
girl
that.
playing against a
Yeah, but you
huge
know,
guy.
you do it based on merit. And yeah, guys are gonna, skew. It's gonna skew heavier towards girls. But I know
Cheryl Miller. Do you know who Cheryl Miller is? Reggie Miller. You may have heard of Reggie Miller, one of the biggest stars in the NBA. His sister was better than he was. He will tell you that. She will tell you that. Everybody in the NBA will tell you that Cheryl Miller is possibly one of the greatest NBA players.
The NHL has actually had 1 or 2 women play in NHL games.
Yes, but that was all.
Like, I can see the
It
skew,
was, but they
especially like in
won.
football, like it's a bit hard just because
Football would be hard.
they
I-
are gigantic, but especially baseball,
Baseball and basketball.
Yep.
they should not.
The
be-
hockey
yes.
thing though, there are some who play in the minor leagues, and that's why she got to play in the NHL, is because she was a minor league player. And yeah, it was a publicity stunt, but you know what?
There are women in high school wrestling.
Our
That opens the door to
USA
anything,
women's
in my
hockey
opinion.
team kicked ass this year. Our men's team went.
Well, I was gonna say, because like, here's the thing about the NBA is, there's a guy on the Clippers named Jamal Crawford. That's 6th man in the NBA. He's an incredible shooter. He's also from Seattle. And when he was playing in high school, Sonics were still here. He was going to the games, almost every single one of the games. I've seen video footage from his high school games, and there's 5,000 people in high school because he was that good. So I do believe that if you have a good team, there's an enthusiasm in this town.
And a good facility.
A good team, a good
That's-
facility, and even, I think you're right, the facility is really
The
good.
and it's kind of sad to think about. You can't, that is a single sport, the Key Arena is a single sport facility. The only thing you can do there is basketball. They try, it's horrible for hockey, you have to block off half
It's
the
horrible for
arena.
music, they try.
Oh my God, I won't go, I will not waste my money to see a concert at Key Arena because the acoustics are,
We'll go to Vancouver for it.
yeah, I'll go anywhere else.
You know, Jamal does a quote, celebrity, well, yeah, celebrity pro amateur basketball thing for a week every year. And he's in some place where he can get 12,000 to sell out every single week. So I think the sport's good. I just think this is a good, this is a decent sports town.
I think it's gonna change it too. I mean, we were last at the Super Bowl '96.
No.
No, we were at the Super Bowl in 2000.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the year I moved to Seattle, the Super Bowl.
2006.
Same thing applies.
Just a few years difference, and there's a huge change. I mean, we were 100% behind the team going. I cannot feel that.
No, in 06, everybody said, hey.
I love
This time it was like.
number
Do you
one.
think it's the players, or do you think it's comparable, or do you think it's just?
Some of the players, the players have a huge presence in the community.
So it goes
They are
Alan Moore.
liked. They
No
don't
diamond.
appear to be jackasses for the most part.
Alan Moore. Alan Moore.
Oh, we have a team that might actually win
Yeah,
something.
that too.
And that started a lot. I mean, I love the Mariners, but I'm also a Mets
This is
fan
the-
too.
The central DC rep.
But you know, it's funny because he had so much.
Are
they in order?
It's just the top 25 that you should know.
Do you think that's say again? The chatter on social media, jeez, here he was in the NFL once and failed. He was the coach of the Jets. It's a different game, it's different ego, it's all those people as well. It's a great example of how really don't.
The big thing, he was kind of making a big piece to the team too, where like with the Jets, he was working with Drew. He was happy to have him there, and here he picked the players he wanted to play with.
You know what I mean? Like,
He was kind of king of LA for 2 or 3 years. I'm not a big college football fan, but I have a friend who's a big USC fan. He's big one. Plays a lot of them. He
you give a little signal there and cut the camera, why it fixes something, so that works out right.
Could you give him back?
Yeah, and
And I think this works pretty well. I have no idea where I am.
Wait, is stage mics, like, stage one could probably be
That's my opinion.
Is empty, is safe.
It's safe. I filled it, I drank it, set it down. Yeah, he chipped it as my buzz. Was enjoying doing the sound, so I'm guessing I'm gonna do it again tomorrow. But who knows? And it's notably cooler in the front of the room than it is back there because of the stupid lights.
I bet when they're saying surf, like.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure they're warmer.
See, I'm ordering a cold.
Steaming next door.
Yeah, I'm comfy.
I have very bad temperature regulation. I usually go between being really, really cold to really, really hot often. I'm looking forward to 9 o'clock. It's gonna be awesome.
So they put out a call for anyone who has friends who would like to be doing tomorrow. Please
Yeah,
come.
because I heard the 140 truck, I didn't realize it was full time.
How you guys doing? How are you? I'm grand. All right. Medication help.
I was wondering if
Right.
something around my name.
I hope she didn't count us, because we didn't check in this morning when we got here because they weren't open yet.
But yeah, never checking downstairs either.
Well, we checked in last night. We got our stuff. But here's the part.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have to. So, but we're here.
Dana. Not my name tag. Someone has my name, I don't know who. So I'm casting.
Earlier,
You are
she was Amy earlier, and that's the second one. I got as much earlier. Because somebody kept calling Dana on the radio, and I'm like, I wonder if that is. It was Amy, so it texted me.
Oh, Earth one. Both the Earth ones are on you. Really nice.
Yes.
Which one?
My favorite Lumen outfits.
I Vampire.
You like fantasy? Robin Hood.
But I mean, no.
It's a trilogy, and then there's more.
What kind of fantasy? I do like fantasy, but
It's moderate magic, not excessive magic.
But the
see the show, so no, I just want to see if you have said that yet. Yes.
No, but Jonah probably.
That's cool. Wait,
Still, no, I read like all of Lost Key consecutively, probably more